Alright, this is David. So we talked about a couple of these things. Your body position is pretty good in the sense that your legs and hips are up high in the water. That's a result of keeping your head lower in the water. I could say that your head is just a little too low. Sometimes it drives underwater. So you want to keep your forehead or the top of your head at the surface and pretty much keep it in one position. See how sometimes you drive under like that? So anytime you drive under the water, it's going to create a bit of extra resistance. Now you're reaching forward pretty well. You got a good reach forward, but you're also reaching down when you reach forward. So the downward reach, you'll miss out on a bit of the water that you could catch were you to reach directly ahead of you, like 6 inches below the surface of the water, as opposed to a foot or a foot and a half even. The second major thing that we discussed was the sort of tempo or rate of turnover here. So when you extend, you're getting a pause there. So extend and pause, or extend and glide. But what really goes on there is if you don't have a whole bunch of propulsion, if you're not kicking a bunch, if your pull is not super strong, then you slow down in this because you don't have anything moving you forward at that motion or at that moment. So you extend, little pause, and with that little pause you start to lose momentum. So what you want to do is, as soon as you cannot extend anymore, you want to start your pull. And later on in the video here you would do that, so that's an improvement. Alright, so here what we look at, do your hips and legs come out of alignment? And they may be just slightly, but actually, no, I'll take that back. They're not really. There's a little, maybe extra motion that you're getting there. That could be from the sort of way you learn to swim, where you're pushing down with your hip. When you push with your hip to rotate, it can cause a little bit of excessive hip motion. And in my view, you want the rotation to be a result of a good extension. Second thing we look at is, where do you reach to? So you're getting a good reach forward. That left arm may be reaching too far in front of your head. Notice how it's directly in front, whereas your right is a little off to the side. You should have both arms a little off to the side. And so here you get a view of the depth of your extension with that left arm especially. The right's not quite as deep. You can also see that pause when you glide or extend and pause. Notice how your propulsion sort of slows down. So you don't want that to happen. So you see accelerate, decelerate, accelerate, decelerate. Kick looks alright. The kick is something that you do want to work on in practice. In a triathlon, you're not going to be kicking super hard, but it's a good thing to have an effective kick, kick that sort of balances out your stroke. And even a small effective kick will give you some propulsion. Now your catch mechanics or your pulling mechanics, once you start, it's sort of a straight arm pull. So that's the second best way to pull. The worst way is elbow slipping or elbow leading the stroke back. Maybe a little bit of an elbow slip on that left arm. The best way is that high elbow catch, which we discussed in depth. So that's rotating your shoulder internally, then getting the elbow up, hand and forearm angling vertical relative to the bottom of the pool. So your line that you're pulling through is pretty good, just a little too close to your midline with that left arm.
So this is just working on reaching more.
Alright, here we talked about reaching more forward and trying to keep your head a little higher in the water.
Water with each stroke right here already.
So this already looks better to me. This looks like you're swimming a little faster already. Probably as an effect of just getting slightly more water with each catch.
It's good.
And your body position is still fine, so there's no problem there. Alright, and on this one I'm pretty sure we started talking about the turnover rate, or your tempo rate. So you've minimized the time that you're pausing at the apex of your extension. So this will take this will be a little bit more aerobically demanding when you're training like this, but that's a good thing. If your goal is to swim faster, training like this will improve your aerobic capacity, your aerobic endurance. It certainly looks like a faster way of swimming than the first time we were looking at you. And you're getting pretty good finish with your strokes as well. That's not something I discuss a whole bunch with you, but when you're swimming training, you want to get a full reach forward, and then you want to get a full finish on the stroke, or push all the way through the water that you can. So this is one arm drill, working on the catch now, the catch mechanics, high elbow catch, and you are getting some on that. That was pretty good. That was pretty good. So when you do this drill though, make sure you still reach forward and then try to do the catch. Here you're reaching in and then starting the catch immediately. That's not bad, especially if it helps you train the motion. But what I want you to do is reach forward and then catch, reach forward and then catch. So here you're angling down a little bit, so you're getting, that was good right there. So good reach, decent catch. That was good. That was pretty good. So you can see the differences in the strokes here. You can see a difference between reaching down, not catching versus catching. That one was pretty good. All right, and then here at the end are some freeze frames, or just screenshots. So each of these is just a little more than 1/10 of a second. So your extension phase here is 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's almost like 8/10 of a second from the time your hand enters to when you really start pulling, which is right there. So that's a little too long, like we discussed. And then here you pull, sort of a straight arm with the elbow leading back. So what happens there is if your hand and forearm don't go vertical relative to the bottom of the pool, you're not getting quite the leverage that you are capable of in the water. So left arm extending. And then here you can see the depth of your extension. That's probably a good 18 inches under the water, or under the surface of the water. So that's pretty deep. You want that arm to be more level with your head, so directly forward. So maybe 6 to 8 inches under the surface of the water. And then once you start to pull, so that's mostly a straight arm motion there, with a little bit of the elbow leading the stroke back. All right, hope that helped.